Welcome to the frequency, my friends. The Kolbrin Bible, a heavily suppressed text. We're going to be diving into some profound passages. I was just reading from the Kolbrin Bible, the Book of Wisdom. So this is, again, we're diving into the Book of Wisdom as before. So go check out those other videos and make sure to subscribe if you like this series, okay? I definitely want to revamp the gems of the sacred wisdom because I think a lot of value could be had here. My friends, we're going to be talking about suffering, affliction, and foraging the soul or spiritual gold, okay? Why do we face this shit? I was reading this just now, these few passages, and it was so profound I had to flip on a video and share it with you guys because my favorite thing about the Kolbrin Bible, my friends, is it's so relatable. It's not secretive. It's not like coded information, and it's just straight truth that you instantly can resonate with, and it's nectar of the gods pouring into your mind. And if you wanted to learn more about the Kolbrin or download it, I have this ultimate text resource page on my website. Links in the description. Without further ado, let's dive straight into it. Trying to keep this one a little bit quick. So, the noble compassion has awakened in the heart of man only through suffering, and the noble qualities of courage and dedication were roused only through affliction. Those who in the past bore their suffering and fortitude became uplifting examples to their fellow men. The nature of this duality here, my friends, is so revealing, and it's key to ponder upon this. Go definitely check out the last video, Living Knowledge, with my boy Hayden. We went deep into this nature of duality in the shadow. But continuing on before I elaborate too far. It must be remembered that pain and suffering do not of themselves develop spirituality. They are not so important, but what is important is the manner in which they are endured. The spirit rising to the challenge and the courageous conquest. Ooh. My friends, pain is the only teacher. Pain is the only teacher. Hopefully I have time to get to this amazing poem about pain. But pain and contrast, my friends, you can't know how you're feeling unless there's contrast. You don't know what feeling good is unless you jump in that freezing lake, unless you break your ankle, right? Contrast. Dwell upon this, but my friends, this line right here, like pain, suffering, tribulations, they're not so important as the manner and means in which you go through them. My friends, we dove into this in the last Gnosis chat with Hayden, and that is really affirming and attaining the spiritual perspective at all times, especially in the hard ones, okay? And this comes down to a lot of different things which this channel talks about. But my friends, how do you go through the hard times? When you're really suffering, are you crying? Are you begging? Are your knees clacking and shaking? Are you calling out, please, no more, I can't take it, right? Or are you digging deep? Are you digging deep? My friends, your trials, your tribulations are there for a reason. These tests are there to bring out the warrior. Your warrior within, okay? The warrior that conquers, that triumphs. He who overcometh shall see the kingdom, right? And the spirit rising to the challenge and the courageous conquest. The suffering of each man should be an offering dedicated to the uplifting of mankind. My friends, how do you grow? Resistance, pain, right? It's really funny to me. I just need to illuminate right here, my friends, the fact that, the more bullshit you have to struggle with, right? The more problems, psychological, issues, just pain and suffering, trials, tribulations that you have to face, right? Most people look at you like either you're insane, you're diseased, you got some kind of mental disorder, right? Or you're just really unlucky. They don't understand that you just have a stronger spirit or a higher calling. My friends, you've never seen a strong man without many scars, right? You've never seen a strong woman that hasn't been through the fray of it. So we walk through the fray of it, but we're not afraid of it, looking at the devil in the eye. And I smile because I realize that my soul goes a mile. Hell yeah. My friends, right there. What any man has to face and overcome is unimportant, right? Really, what matters is how you face it and the means by which you overcome it. My friends, are you looking for shortcuts, right? Are you looking for that pill, that get-rich-quick scheme? You know, all of a sudden, like, you break your body or you need tremendous healing to be done. You're in a bad state of calamity and suffering, right? How deep are you going to go? How strong, how much spiritual challenge, how much spirit is going to raise to the challenge of overcoming the self and reestablishing yourself in truth? It's really important questions. The very tribulations and problems of life give it zest for those brave spirits who face up to them with the courage and cheerfulness. Each man must discover for himself his own weaknesses and frailty. And you discover those weaknesses, my friends, through going through trials, going through tests. We're going to be tested every day. You're tested every day, whether you know it or not. And if your life isn't changing the way you want it to, instead of trying to manifest what your ego wants, which is going to be like peace and luxury and the beaches and the bitches, right? Or whatever the ego thinks is you, instead of trying to do that and use a law of attraction, all this personal development stuff, what I highly recommend, and the Kolbrin's going to recommend it too, is looking within and seeing what you're avoiding, seeing what fears are driving you, what deeply underrooted fears. Maybe your ego is wants this reality, is trying to create this reality and get all this money because he feels so empty inside, right? And the only way that he can be validated in this world is to be wealthy and have all this money. So then he's going to do that, right? Look within and see why you are a certain way, right? Discover your weaknesses, which are often deceptively hidden, like as a perceived strength, which is kind of strange, or under it. It is not through the divine will that man suffers. Okay, this is key, my friends. We're talking about the true will right here. This is master keys right here. It is not through the divine will that man suffers. The divine will is that man fulfill the divine plan through learning to overcome the restrictions and illusions of material existence by rising above them. Ooh. That's why me and the Kolbrin go hand in hand. I love the Kolbrin. I love it because it cuts through all the spiritual bullshit and the fact that, yo, my friends, your entire mission here is not to find a life of luxury and rest and tranquility and one that's like fun. No, you're not supposed to have fun here. Like, yeah, you will have fun. That's great. Go have fun. Go have a blast, right? But the purpose of your existence here is to go through it, my friends, and find the true will. And then once you discover the true will, invoke and incarnate the strong spiritual self who is rooted in his purpose, his divine, as part of the divine plan, right? And is a perfect vehicle for the true will to overcome all obstacles and conquer this earth and conquer this material and conquer your inner war, right? So that God's plan can pour through you so that you can become a portal for a new world. Okay? The true will is not my will be done, right? Not this small I, but thine will be done. The true will is you and the Father in you. When you speak, God's voice is heard. When you act, God's hand is felt. The Christ is literally the symbolic incarnate of the true will. Okay. So that's the purpose here. So hopefully this whole thing is shedding light on your bullshit, on your problems, right? Maybe you don't have any really drive to change or overcome, and you're just kind of, just kind of in this state of resignation to this dull existence that you're deeply unsatisfied with. This should be a wake-up call to start attacking. My friends, will your spirit rise to the challenge? Invoke the warrior within you, my friends. Invoke the warrior. It doesn't matter, right? Here we go. Whatever, I forget where it was, but it doesn't matter where you are on the ladder, my friends. It doesn't matter if you're super wealthy or like halfway wealthy or broke. It doesn't even matter, right? How many friends or how lonely. My friends, the only thing that truly matters in our existence, that in fact leads to the beautiful and like joyous inner life and external life, right? What makes a beautiful reality? You see that all the appearances seemingly don't matter because that guy's suffering the same as that dude. But that broke man over there who just loves playing that guitar is having a blast. Why? It doesn't matter where you are. It matters which way you are moving. My friends, it matters which way you are moving. Are you rising to the challenge of life? Or are you life's bitch? It's a valid question. And no judgment, because I was life's bitch for like 2 years very recently. And I was in a state of weakness and decay. And I was hoping, I had resigned to this idea that life would like somehow boom and like, I would be transformed and like circumstances and reality around me would be transformed so that I could just get out of what I was, right? And then I realized that that ain't gonna happen, A. And then B, I'm on the path to destroying myself, right? So, you gotta rise. You gotta rise when you see death right over that edge, right? How strong is your spirit? The divine will and the true will. Okay, let's go deeper. Where there is no pain and suffering, man would be like a jellyfish, drifting aimlessly with the currents in a sea of matter. Suffering, pain, and sorrow result from an existence within a material body and are not part of man's spiritual heritage. Okay. Is this Hermes speaking? Like, what? Again, this is why I adore the Kolbrin Bible. It's like, quote from Hermes right here. Everything that you like lust for in the physical or that you've enslaved your physical body to is foreign to or alien to your godlike divine nature. Right? All the sorrow of existence, the suffering and the pain of existence within a material body are not part of man's spiritual heritage. I hate to break it to you, but spirit don't cry. That means that you shouldn't cry. No, cry, right? Especially if you're tapping into your soul. It's usually a very sorrowful, revealing night. But spirit ain't crying, okay? The only reason you're crying is because you're in a dense perspective, right? For instance, your dog dies. Like, I love my dog so much. It's going to be a very sorrowful day when she passes, right? Or your parents or a very close loved one. And like, we must have the deepest compassion for each other on this plane. And grief is sacred. But, spirit doesn't cry because it understands. It knows that ain't the end. And that loved one is just going to the next calling, right? She already fulfilled or he already fulfilled what he was here to offer or serve at whatever capacity he did, right? And now he's moving on to the next, trial, the next, incarnation, or however you want to think about it, the next step in the spiritual evolution and the spiritual unfoldment, right? So it's really just comes down to the depth of understanding and the degree in which you are identified with the flesh or the degree in which you are identified with the true self. The more you become identified with the true self, the more you naturally transmute sorrows, pains, griefs, hard times, because it doesn't hit you so hard because you are not so chained into that reality. For instance, everyone in high school be stressing so damn much about that test, right? They like so much, right? Because they don't really know how to use their mind or prepare for it or whatever. But like, Yeah, I'd usually just walk in there and just be like, yo, I just like didn't it doesn't really fucking matter, right? Those who can attain a higher perspective and walk through life with a broader spiritual perspective that are tapped into the symbolism and the mystery of life, what kills someone else doesn't even affect them. My friends, I don't even know where I'm going to get food or money 2 weeks from now. I don't know where I'm living 3 days from now. Like I'm moving out of this apartment, right? I don't really have many friends. Actually, I don't really have any friends in real life. I have a few brothers out here in the tribe. Like to someone else, like if they were in my position, they would be fucking miserable. They would be like, what am I doing with my life, man? And I'm just like, yo, like this was a gift to me. All this alone time to find myself and really like grow and discover and individuate and bring forth what is within me. It's a sacred time. It's a sacred time to be alive. You got to embrace that shit, my friends. And like, yeah, loneliness sucks at a lot of times, but it's really finding the teaching that is within your time alone. I love this right here. Keep your feet firmly upon the great path of the true way. Yeah, when we tribe up out here, we going by the name of the great path of the true way. The great path of the true way. Here we go. Diving into the sections that are real gold now. This is stupid good. So if you made it this far, hit that like and share button. Make sure to subscribe to the Gems of Sacred Wisdom and definitely check out my Patreon where I dive a lot deeper into the esoteric mysteries and whatnot. Yeah, and let me know what you want to dive into next. But if visited by affliction or sorrow, a man should not bewail his loss, for these should be the means of drawing him closer into the embrace of divinity. They are meant to strengthen his spirit and develop his spirituality. What? You kidding me? Yo, if you are deep in the embrace of sorrow and affliction, right? It's like the darkest nights, my friends. These are literally God putting you in a bear hug, right? And getting you closer to him. Like that's what's happening, right? Yo, change, destruction is always accompanied by loss and sorrow and grief and pain, right? But how can you become or realize your divine nature if we don't destroy our identification and knowledge of the material nature or overcome that, right? And all your tests, your afflictions, my life, my friends, are there to strengthen your spirit. Yo, I was just with my boy Hayden and we were hiking this big mountain, right? It was like a 4-hour hike. And like the last like 30 minutes, like, yo, my inner warrior jumped out. Like, it was hard. And I'm just like, fuck it, man. Put your head down and just attack. Just attack, right? Yo, your inner warrior doesn't really come out until you test it. I love the Julius Evola on this this story about these couple men, these soldiers, these knights defending a bridge, right? And their village, all their loved ones, their family, the kids, their dogs, whatever, it's all in the village behind them. And there's an army, a militia of men coming to burn the entire place to the ground on the order of some other king. So these 4 men defend and man the bridge against an army of 100. They know they're going to die. They know, right, that if they don't give it their all, everyone that they know and love will be brutally and savagely killed. But if they make a stand, right, and like, yo, this is what I'm dying, like I'm here to die. Like I meet my end right here. How are you going to meet your maker? Right? How are they going to go out? And that brings forth the rawest expression of your spiritual power right there. Okay. So your tests, your afflictions, your trials, that's in a very extreme analogy or example. But we need extremes to, realize the teaching within in the smaller aspects of life. And that is when you're tested, my friends, it is a test of your spirit. Rise to the occasion, right? No man has any right to expect an untroubled life, and one who has passed half a year without trouble or affliction has already received ample reward for living and should not ask for any more. Half a year without affliction. Yeah, like we lived like this like comfortable, very docile, dumbed down, dull fucking life in the modern age. I hate to say it. And that's because we're always running from pain and seeking happiness. Stop seeking pleasure and happiness. It's what makes you Pavlov's dog. And you will always be reacting and the bitch to life, right? How do you conquer life? Is to not be a dog and a slave to pain and pleasure and seeking happiness. The way, my friends, is to seek the truth of your nature. The way is to become who you are. The way is to become an incarnated spiritual power, right? Fixed in purpose and the true will, fixed in who you are, right? Fulfillment and joy don't come from having everything you want, right? And being in a place with the people. No, happiness and full fulfillment come from doing that which you are meant to fucking do and doing it to the highest capacity you have, right? The more man is given, this is up here, whatever. The more man is given, right? What is expected of him is an equal proportion. My friends, look at your gifts. Look at what you're not doing, what you're not using, right? What you kind of been putting off. Look at how powerful you really are. Look at that spirit that resides within you. All these gifts, these capacities, these resources, and spiritual, I guess, blessings that you've been given, right? How much of them are just kind of sitting there latent? My friends, you weren't given gifts to lord them over someone or let them fall into unuse. Your gifts were in fact given to you so that you could give them to the world. Your ability to react, to move, to move powerfully out here, right? Your capacities, your energy, your intellect, your resources, right? Everything about you. That is given to you in equal proportion to that which you are supposed to bring forth, or output, right? You have all that input, and if you don't have equal output, you better believe the next time around, if you don't make it out of here this one, right, you're going to be in a worse state. You're going to be worse off. Really think about this, my friends, because we use our energy so selfishly now, and we don't actually think that energy is not meant to be wasted. But energy is not meant to be wasted. We have to really attain and affirm a higher perspective of what the fuck this life is, or else we're going to be living in a dull haze, and humanity will be in this constant snowballing, mass of darkness towards destruction, because no one wants to be a fucking human, right? They all align with the material, and their entire life is about distraction, entertainment, and some kind of hormone chemical complex going on within their blood, right? And they never even want to look at the eternity beyond this little blink, right? They don't want to look at that. They don't want to consider it because they've been sold the lie, that is just oblivion. My friends, true life will be found. A new world will be resurrected when many people can come together, right? With the affirmation of a higher perspective and a higher, capacity to live life, right? To seek and align with ideals that are true to the spiritual nature and the true purpose of man's place in this world. When we come to find our place again, right? Dharma, law, truth, and love will once again be reestablished. Find your place, my friends. The good and the wicked are tested. There is no one exempt. The difference is that the righteous man uses the test to benefit himself. Ooh, it's good shit. While the unrighteous turns them against himself to destroy his own soul. Ooh. Okay. What the fuck just happened? Okay. No man should be overwhelmed by the troubles and tribulations which come upon him. I've been so close to being overwhelmed so many times, my friends. And yeah, I feel like I really dig myself in deep fucking holes because I like to lie to myself. It's the nature of the trickster, my friends. The more intelligent you are, or like, yeah, I guess the higher capacity you have to think, see, and understand and realize is equal in your capacity to rationalize. Right? And we fucking deceive ourselves, my friends. You know, I'm really good at lying to myself. Like really, really, really good at it. So it leads me to really, really, really dark places. They are intended to be utilized for the benefit of his soul and strengthening his spirit, and bearing this in mind, he should be better able to endure them. Every man is born to be tested and tried. You hear that? Yo. Like, just think about a child, my friends. No, I don't want to play with the little kids. I want to play tag with the big boys. Why? Why did I always pick on my older cousins that were like 7 years older than me? To the point where they got so annoyed they'd actually like give me a pounding. And I'm like a 6-year-old kid. Why would I always go attack? And the biggest problem, right? Like when I was skiing, it's like I don't even want to try the greens and the blues before I try the double blacks, right? Like I just want to go straight to the gnarliest fucking shit and see and test my stuff, like the young buck out here. Every man is born to be tested and tried. Yo, seek to be tested and rise, my friends. Truly, the joy, the joyous and beautiful inner life blossoms through constant rising to the occasion and realizing your joy in rising to and then conquering your trials and tests. That could have been said more poetically, but sorrow and suffering, problems and tribulations are meant to be the lot of men. Yo, this ain't the Garden of Eden. Yet they are never his continued lot, and the brighter moments of life far outweigh the darker. If you're cherishing this moment. I think we might end right here because this is a little transition into a different theme, but the intelligent man observes the ways of nature and the forces she utilizes. He learns how they operate so that he does not become a slave of blind forces beyond his control. Oh shit. You see, this is why I just love the Kolbrin. It's like bringing in straight hermeticism right here, my friends. What happened? Yeah. Like the whole hermetic or esoteric philosophy is essentially the apprehension of the subtle things and the unseen reality that underlie all forms. Okay. Why everything happens out here. Why you appear and seem to be like that. Why all this shit happens isn't because of some kind of rational, concrete, dual forces in which you perceive out here, right? It comes from principles, the principalities that govern the universe, right? The 7 hermetic laws, right? The symbolism, the archetypal nature that underlies all reality. For instance, just a reflection as it then so without here, going within. Your personality, like everyone be trying to change themselves, but they're looking at the glow. They're looking at this fractal reflected image of themselves, which is actually being projected deep within the subconscious mind. And the symbols they have created there, right? So like to change the form, to change this, is not actually to focus on this. It's to focus underneath it It's to focus on the deeper layers of your psychology to erect massive transformation. As within, so without kind of thing right here. And this goes into the intelligent man observes the ways of nature, the ways of Dharma, right? And learns how they operate so that he does not become a slave, blind to the forces beyond his control. Look into what Hermes said about the zodiac, which is the master of the destiny of men, the slaves to fate, right? They are in fact simply in a state of reaction. They are Pavlov's dog to the Matrix, where the Matrix, dark forces, whatever, throw some money over here, right? And everyone be chasing happiness. I want pleasure. I want happiness. I want pleasure. I want happiness, right? And pleasure and happiness looks like this because this is what they've been showed their whole lives. So they throw some shit over here and they throw some shit over here and then they put some stuff on the news and everyone's like, it's the masses just be moving back and forth. Look at Edward Bernays, right? Goes deeper into astrology and whatnot, in the fact that the astrological archetypal energies that be moving around and manipulating the astral light all around us, right? In fact, creates the feelings and behaviors that the, unaware individual has no power to change, right? He is simply the slave to those energies because he doesn't have the awareness of what his energy is. He doesn't have the awareness of what his will is. And he doesn't have the awareness of being influenced externally, right? Because he hasn't, tapped into the more subtle layers of this reality. That goes way deeper. I could say that for next time. If you want to dive into Hermeticism, the nature of reality, and the subtle forces that create the scene, because nothing is as it seems. It's all smoke and mirrors, okay? Everything in the material, everything you can see is but an illusion, the Maya. Okay, if you want to dive into that, we can go into that. We can dive into a lot of other things. Well, I want to leave it right here. 211. 211 and 57 are perhaps the most symbolic numbers of me. They have to do with everything about me in terms of gematria, numerology, place I've been born, and numbers I see all the time. 211, 57. Let me know what your synchronistic defining numbers are, but the dispensations of life are not entirely beyond the understanding of man, and indeed, he has a duty to strive for understanding. My friends, the soul who understands is conscious, devoted, and already godlike. Hermes Trismegistus. To transmute all problems, to rise quickly through the 33 degrees, right? To transcend so many things is simply to understand. If you can understand, right, from a higher plane, that the plane below you instantly begins to dissolve and holds no more power over you. We can dive way deeper into that too. Everything serves a purpose, even things that seem most hurtful. The shadow, the darkness has a teaching too, my friends. Everything ungainly. Whatever, my friends. As you can see, the Kolbrin Bible does a tremendous job illuminating the nature of this duality we experience here on earth, affirming that duality and your role, your duty to bring forth what is within you. Because he who brings forth what is within him will save him. He who does not bring forth what is within him will destroy him, as Jesus would tell you, right? And to do that is the process of understanding and integrating the darkness by going through it. Stop avoiding your fears. And this shouldn't be some kind of painful, resistant, I got to view more like this. Oh, I got to actually face. No, my friends. Simply attain the perspective of what these trials are. My friends, man is supposed to be tested every day. Every day holds a test, whether you recognize it or not. Every moment holds a test, whether you recognize it or not, because that test comes in the purpose of that present moment. Bada boom, bada bang. This is the revelation of all. Okay, last thing I want to leave you guys with is tying in the Book of Wisdom back to the Book of Lucius, which we will dive way deeper into, I would say the Book of Lucius is one of the most profound books in the Kolbrin. And he was perhaps the greatest adept, mystery master in the Kolbrin, in all the mysteries and spiritual illumination he brings forth here. And Lucius really talks about the Great Spirit, aligning with the Great Spirit, breathing with the Great Spirit, right? And awakening your spiritual vision and coming into union, communion, and constant communication with the Most High, dwelling in the heart of God and God in the heart of you, the two into one. Lucius unveils these, which is crazy. It's crazy. It's like we got like esoteric Christianity combined with Gnosticism, combined with the Tao, combined with Hermeticism, and here's the Kolbrin Bible. And like I would say, like, you know, probably what, 1,000 people have read this book? 1,000 maybe in the modern era? My friends, this is literally a divine blueprint that was purposely manifested or placed into this reality for the final days. Get yourself a damn copy and illuminate the mind. There's a lot of bullshit and just like stories within the Kolbrin. But this is why I'm trying to make this Gems of Sacred Wisdom, because if you can purge through all that shit, you can get wow. Lucius 3:8. Pain checks man in the midst of senseless enjoyment and makes him ponder his fate. It causes him to turn his thoughts towards greater things and reflect on the approach of death. Suffering, sorrow, and trouble are tests, which, if passed successfully, qualify the soul spirit for entry into the greater sphere of existence. You trying to level up? Well, I know I am. This is Reality Files. We trying to level up out here. Let me know if you want me to dive into the Book of Lucius, Hermeticism in the Kolbrin, or the esoteric mysteries of nature. In the next Gems of Sacred Wisdom Unveiled, my friends, I've read hundreds. Almost every sacred book I have found in the past 3 years. In fact, I've almost read exclusively not like teachings of great sages or, you know, very masters of the mysteries, or sacred books exclusively for 2 years straight. And I have so much stuff highlighted, thousands of notes, and I've had a lot of resistance against starting this series and continuing it, but, you know, it's something I'm called to do, and I must do it, and that is bring forth these gems that are absolutely transformational in the sacred mystery teachings, the sacred scriptures of all religions, right? Through all these lenses, and revealing the truth that you can know, experience, and live. My friends, this is Reality Files. Hit that like button. Share this with a friend that you think will be valuable for. Put this on your Facebook groups. Do whatever you need to do. Help me out here. Help this get seen. And I'll see you guys later on the Gems of Sacred Wisdom. Peace. Oh, make sure you go check out my Patreon. I do post similar things like this, raw notes, and it's an archive of deeper mystery teachings that aren't really suitable for just like the public audience out here. So if you're interested in that, check out my Patreon. Appreciate all your support. Appreciate all you seekers that made it this far. You're the true brethren out here. Oh, you know what? I think next time I might dive in to Book 4, The Sons of Fire. Damn. This is a roller coaster. Peace.